a treat for you today. I have one of my friends, my colleagues, my battles, my little brother, whatever you want to call him, Chris Hampton of the Champ I Am platform. And when I tell you he's going to be dropping some gems today as we talk about leadership and the importance of leaders making sure that their mind, their body, mentally they're healthy, but that they put that on their radar and make sure that they keep time and energy poured into that to help them be better leaders. I am the CEO and founder of LT3 Leadership Solutions, as you know, Brigadier General retired Twanda E. Young, your hammers, velvet hammer leadership entrepreneur, advisor, developer, all those things you want to call me. But today we're going to have a fun conversation about practical, implementable strategies, day one that you can use or to reflect on as a leader to help you be better. So, welcome, Christopher Hampton. How are you
Wow,
today, sir?
I'm doing great. You know what? I found a great way of introducing all the things that we're doing. We're leadership architects. That's how we say we
I
do
like that. I like
it.
that. Leadership architects.
We're
Well,
leadership architects. We're gonna take that.
I like that. That's nice. So, as we talk about the architecture of leadership, I really want to get your perspectives on the health of a leader. What
Hmm.
does that mean for you?
Well, I come from an old saying where it says, heal people, hurt people.
Hmm.
And one of the worst experience that you can have is being able to serve under a broken leader. Because what they do is instead of dealing with themselves and being able to take the time to put into themselves to heal, they learn how to function jacked up. So
Hmm.
jacked up people end up jacking other people up. And how many people out there have been under leadership that was jacked up mentally, emotionally? Their life was not aligned. They were out of alignment. And now
Hmm.
they find themselves hurting the people that are around them, and nobody can be. So I try to show leaders how to create space that they can heal and be healthy so that they can raise up healthy leaders as well.
Yeah, I remember one of the things that in my career during the military times, there was a time where I was a jacked up leader. When I say jacked up, m- just emotionally because of what I was going through at the time of the leader that was over me that was jacked up, that I was to the point where my meals was a bottle of Boone's Farm. Now don't judge me. Was
And
a
no
bottle
judgment.
of Boone Farms wine and some Oreo cookies. That was my meal for almost a year. So
Wow.
that began to, of course, my health declined. I was beginning to be on the verge of an alcoholic, if you will,
Mm.
because that's all I was feeding myself. So when we are under people that are jacked up, that we have given trust to, all that does is set the stage for chaos and downward motion. So what are some of the strategies and things that you do to help you remain healthy as a leader?
Well, I've learned I speak in acronyms a lot, so it keeps me on track and keeps me aligned
Okay.
and helps y'all remember what I said too. So when you think of the word space, think of it like space period Space with a period behind each of those letters, right? So
Okay.
first strategy that you want to have is make sure that you are aware of your spiritual space. And a lot of times when we talk about spiritual, the very first thing that we start dealing with is faith-based, but it's not always faith-based. It's the
Hmm.
internal you. If you realize that there's an internal you that needs to be able to be fit, as just as fit as we deal with the outward man, we have to make sure that our inward person is strong. And that's where you feel the anxiety, to feel the emotions, and all those different things that we feel on the inside. That's our inner man is built to deal with that. My question is how strong is your inner man? Because the thing
That's a
is
reflective
who,
thought.
yeah, who you feed the most wins. If you feed the body, The body is going to grow. The body's going to build muscles. As you see, I'm in my gym shirt, right? I'm learning how to get these guns
Look at
up.
mine, look at mine, look at mine.
You got
I'm
you
working on
still got your guns,
look.
yeah. You still got your guns. I'm developing my future me. I want to be able to dress right in my 50s and look good in my
Get
50s.
that six pack or
But
that eight
but
pack.
let's talk about that because it's just one pack, and I'm learning right now how to get that one pack down to the six individual. And I get it there every now and when I press my body, press my body and I cramp up and I see the eight pack that's really there. But
There
that the
you go.
reality is that it's really there, but you got to develop that body to get to your
Yeah.
pack, right? And how many of us are strong on the outside, weak on the inside because we don't take the time to acknowledge the spiritual you. So when we talk about strategies in the spiritual space, of course, I'm gonna go. I believe prayer works. So I'm gonna talk about what's your creator line that you have open. Are you doing that? And what prayer does, it takes the stress of the day and it puts it before you, and then you're putting it before Him. And a good thing about prayer is it allows you to acknowledge the stuff that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's an internal way of acknowledging this is the stuff that I'm going to. Now, what you do with that prayer is up to you. But I give that prayer to him to help me, to give me the wisdom to work that out. But another side of that is meditation. Meditation is a principle that works for everybody. What we meditate on is when you think of meditation is the pondering of a thought. So sometimes we are thinking so much on the negative that we are meditating on negative more than we are meditating on the positive thought because we keep on rehearsing that negative trope over and over and over again. How
All
are
the
you
time.
making space to take care of that in your spiritual space? And again, who you feed the most wins. So I'm not saying don't take care of your outside body, but just as much intention that you put into your natural side, the muscles and the dieting and the supplements, you need to make sure that you are taking care of that inner man as well. P,
Right.
that P side is important, is personal boundaries. And you find out that people don't have boundaries the way that we
Mm.
used to. And the reason why you are jacked up mentally and spiritually is because you have rolled your gates down and you've let everybody in.
Trying to
And
be
not
a helper to
everybody's
everyone.
you're not supposed to be open to everybody. That's why have you heard that old that you in the country, the bull in the China, was it the bull in the China
In
closet?
the
You
China
know,
shop. Yep.
yeah, you put a
Yep.
bull in a China shop. That's not where bulls go. Bulls need to
Yeah.
go in the designated area. So if
There
you
you go.
got bull behavior, you need to go in the bull designated area because you're not coming into my quiet space, right? Protecting that personal boundary makes a difference. And then A is affirmation. What are you saying to yourself? And affirmations are very popular now because, but they don't. I don't think they realize what affirmations really are. Affirmations are statements that are designed to help you reprogram how you see yourself. So you
Oh,
say, today's going to be a good day. Today's going to be a good day. That's an affirmation.
oh, I
I'm
like
going
that
to
little
win.
beat. Let's do that
Yeah,
again.
today's
Today's
going to
gonna
be a
be a
good
good
day.
day. I like that. I like that. I like
I
that.
can't help. This is like with my sister. I play too much, but it is what it is. But that's an affirmation that though it might not be true to you yet, you're reprogramming your mind to
Gotcha.
believe something. But most people stop at the affirmation. What I want you to do is get to the C. C is confession. So we go
Mm.
from affirming, which is something that I think to be true, to a confession is some declaring something that you believe is true. So
Okay.
it's no longer today is going to be a good day. Today's going to be a good day. Why? Because I believed it was going to be a good day so much that I made plans. I
Mm.
made a plan. It's going to be a good day because I made structure in my day to match my affirmation,
I like
right?
that.
And then the E is the emotional help. We deny. Oh my God, this is the most. We got some of the most emotionally illiterate people in the world right now when it comes to being able to express emotional peace in an emotional space and protecting that. And the reason why is I learned this little tool that doctors use when I was talking to, Shelly. She does this Teach Me to Heal conference that we're speaking at. And I realized there was something called the emotional wheel. And it's an emotional color wheel and it
Okay.
starts with most people can only identify six or seven emotions: happy, sad, joyful, mad, or all the main seven, right? But do you
Hmm.
realize that the emotional wheel actually says you're feeling this, but this is really mad does not always mean that I'm mad, angry. It could be mad because I'm disappointed in the result. I'm mad because I was disrespected and I feel this type of way and I'm frustrated. So when you realize that anger has all these different lines to it, just telling me I'm mad at you is not enough. I got to understand why I'm mad at you and then manage that emotion. And rather than giving my machine gun response to everybody on how I think I'm mad at you, I'm mad at everybody, I'm mad at the world. I'm not really mad at the world. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated and I'm anxious. And I need to be able to put words to that other than the main seven that you already have. So as a leader, we need to make the space that we can be able to show up in spaces healthy.
Look, that's some finger snaps. When I'm emceeing, I'm saying we don't clap, we snap. And that's a snap
That's
right
how
there.
we do. We snap. We
That we
snap.
snap because you that is such good strategy because you said something very, I think, so powerful and profound at the end is being able to name it,
Hmm.
right? Not just call it something, but name it and explain it to define what it is. And that to me leads into being able to better communicate
Yes. Because
where I am.
you can't confront what you can't identify. And when you realize that, it's like, why am I depressed? Well, and when you trace it back, oh, I'm feeling depressed. You have the feeling of depressed, and you see all that. You feel depressed, but you don't understand why you're depressed. Well, I feel like there's nothing out there for me. I feel like I'm just in the rat race. So what you're really telling me is you're depressed because you have a lack of purpose. Okay,
Ah,
well, now that you can identify that we have a purpose problem, then you can start asking yourself the right questions. What is my purpose? Because whenever I've worked, I've learned to work according to my person. I'm a dualpreneur. I am building my champ I am empire with a full-time job, but because I walk by vision and not by sight, I understand that my job is preparing me for my empire. So when I apply for the director position, I'm not applying for the director position because it's the end all to be all. I'm applying for the director position with the purpose of learning the language of CEOs. When I go into speak to CEOs and deal with CEOs on my empire side, I've learned all the mistakes I've made from the internship
gotcha. On the job training,
on the
basically.
job training.
But
Yeah.
it ties really into um, that strategy, back to that strategy again, right? Of
Hmm.
having a strategy of how we're going to take care of ourselves in order to take care of others. My thought process is leadership is a responsibility.
Yes.
And I have the responsibility to lead you well, but to do that, I got to take care of Tia. I
Hmm.
got to make sure that Tia gets enough sleep. I got to make sure that Tia gets enough rest and that I'm sharpening my craft on a daily basis, doing those things that help me up level, then tear me down.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I would think that you might agree that you've had times in your career space where you were just doing.
Yes.
And then there was a time when, as you were doing, all of a sudden, brick wall because you ran out of gusto, you ran out of energy because you weren't doing those things you know necessary to help you keep going on your upward trajectory. Would
But
you
you
agree
have
or
to make
disagree?
space. You got to make space for that, General. And the problem is that by the time you feel like I'm about to do a conference tomorrow at the end of the week at the Power of We, and we're doing that, and I'm talking about maximizing refreshing moments. And the problem again is the reason why as leaders we can't even vacation right because we're in vacation, but we're thinking about what we got to do when we get back home again. So we don't turn it off. We don't make the space holy enough that when we are in that space of a refreshing moment, that this is a time that I can just deal with me and reflect about me so that I can renew and go in with a new perspective and not go back into the work. So again, one of the biggest things that most corporate leaders that I watch the corporate leaders that I work with on my job and the people that are above me. And one of the main things that they talk about is they don't have work-life balance. Well, and
Yeah.
they wonder, and then they wonder when they look at my life and I'm a full-time employee, remote employee, but then they see all the international things they do, then they see the ministerial things they do, then they see the community things that I'm doing, and I have the same 24 hours as they do, and they're like, there's no way that you can do your job the way that you do it and still do all those things, but in the end, I'm still top of my class on my job, top of my class in my community, top of my class in my empire. Why? Because we make space for the things that are important to us.
Yeah, because we all have the same 24 hours. You know,
Same
as
20.
you were talking about this acronym SPACE,
Mm-hmm.
I go back in my mind of when I was in command at Fort Benning, Georgia, and I had just given up command. And that's like, you've gone 2 years, you've worked this mission, you put it all in. And we used to have these phones, if I don't know if you remember, the BlackBerry phones. You remember those
Yes.
BlackBerry phones?
It's the only
Oh
government
my
phone you can
gosh,
have.
I love the BlackBerry phone.
They're trying to bring it back. They're trying to
That was
come
my
back.
look. I fought tooth and nail not to give up my BlackBerry phone. Look, I mean, they had to even talk to the commander that ordered me to turn it in because I could do I could write memos, do PowerPoints, all that kind of stuff on it. And I remember when I gave up the change, did my change of command, and my family and I were getting ready to go off, to celebrate. We were apart. I was a bachelor in Fort Benning, while Tracy with the girls were in DC for 2 years straight. And
Mm,
so we were celebrating by going to this water park. I can't remember the name of the water park, but my kids wanted to go there. And I remember being on the plane and I could still feel the vibration. Now I had to give up the phone. The phone was gone. The new commander had it, but
mm-hmm.
I felt the vibration of that phone on my side that I looked to see did I have the phone.
Yeah, the
And
ghost phone vibration.
yes, I did. Seriously. That I wish I had known this strategy of space
Mhm.
because mine was back again to that term you use. I was jacked up because I didn't have my pillars and my
Mhm.
focus in right places. My focus was in the wrong place of just doing, being
Right,
competitive, doing what I got to do to check that block to get to the next position. That to me, I miss some of the beauty
right.
of that journey.
Because when you realize where you are right now, at any time you're replaceable.
Oh yes.
Period. You're so replaceable that it's not funny. I mean, like you put all that time in there, and then they gave your phone to somebody else, but they had the position filled, and you were out of sight, out of mind, and you're like, but my whole life was with you. And when
Yeah.
you go back, it's like I heard the expression was said, "How do you know you're codependent?" Is when you're drowning and you see someone else's life go before your eyes, and you're like, "Wait a minute! I've been so codependent on my work, and my
Yeah.
codependent in my relationships that I can't even see my function of who I am." And that's the part of at the center of space is making sure that you are in the center of your reality and you are protecting these areas because these are your weak points. The same points that are defending you are also the same points that are your weak points. And any one of those things that are missing, what you're going to find out is if you lack in on any of those walls, it's an entryway for chaos to come into your life.
Yeah. Because if you don't have a strategy, you're all over the place.
You're all over the place, and
That that that
I'm
right there just
protecting
starts you off wrong.
these points. And when you realize that the HEAL is also an acronym that I have as well. So when I talk about that is you have to be able as a leader to understand H. You have to be able to help yourself. And helping yourself is realizing as a leader, I don't have it all and I need help.
Hmm.
And people are so against therapy nowadays, but I am so much into therapy that if you need therapy, you need someone to give you language for where you are. And a therapist will help give you language, an accountability mentor, an accountability partner, someone who's where you want to be. They will give you language for your next level in the areas that you're weak on. You have to encourage yourself because it's a public journey. So while you're getting your healing, you still have to exist as you. So you have to encourage yourself when nobody sees the work that you're putting in. You got to be able to encourage yourself to continue the journey, whether people see it or not. You got to accept yourself, realizing that as a leader, you have flaws. Nobody's perfect. Ain't nobody
Don't
floating.
say it. Don't say I got
No,
flaws. Don't say I
no,
got
you
flaws.
got flaws, General. I know. I work with you. Tracy covers a lot.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
But as the same way, my wife covers me too. So it's but I've learned to accept who I am, and who I am at this stage is who I am. And the main part about the L is the loving yourself, is that you can't put your validation and your acceptance in other people's control. The very first person that should validate you is you. The very person that needs to affirm you is you. You declare the level of love that people will extend to you. They're only reflecting how you love you. And if you don't love you, you make it impossible for the people around you to love and accept you too.
Say that again, because that
Oh
right
no,
there, that's another
that was
snap
all
for me.
revelation right there.
That was all snap right there. Say it again. Say that last one again so I
I'll
can
say it again. I'll say it again. If you don't know how to love you, you are training people up how to mistreat you, because the love that you want is a reflection of the love that you give to yourself. And when you don't love yourself, you are showing people how to love you the wrong way.
that is, I think that is so apropos for not only just in leadership, but in business, right? As entrepreneurs. If you don't believe in your product and the
Mhm.
value, whether you're a coach, life coach, whether you're selling, your books, your whatever that is, if you're going to try to get sponsors or to partner with other people, and if you don't believe in the value and the impact that you bring, oh, there it goes, that you bring to the table,
Mhm.
then no one else will, right? No one else is going to believe that. So I think that that is so important and such a nugget of practicality that we have to take on not just as leaders, but as business leaders. All
You
right,
know,
I'm coming to go ahead, say that, and then I'm going to give you the last question, and then we want to hear what's going on in your backyard.
no problem. And one of the things that kind of go into training people in a way to treat you is my brand is funny because they think I spelled champion wrong, right? It's champ I am, and I put it all together as one word because I believe it's going to be a dictionary word in the next 10 years, right? But
Sure, sure, for sure,
but
for
the great
sure.
thing about it is I don't allow them to tell me what my brand is. So I have to train them on my brand. And when I talk about how champ is you're a champion, you are the champion. Everything you need is on the inside of you. That next affirmation and confession is I am. So now I train you to redefine what champion is. So have you now whenever you look at my brand, you see champion and champ I am as synonymous. Why? Because I trained you on how to treat me. And so it is with your brand, so it is with your life. Your life is one big brand. How do you
Yes.
want people to receive your brand? Your brand goes in the rooms before you even walk into it.
Oh,
How do
yeah.
you want people? Then you want people to treat you something, then you need to train them on the way that you want to be treated.
That's why the core of the Dare to Lead Differently Summit is about doing things differently, right? Don't treat me like you would treat your normal go by fly business owner or leader. No, I have knowledge, skills, and abilities, and my experiences are the value that I bring to the table to help you be better.
Hmm.
And that's really what we're going after for the core of the Dare to Lead Differently Summit. So having people like yourself on the stage is just such a great treat. But even so, you're giving practical, implementable strategies that can be used day one. And that's what we're about. Dare to Lead Differently Summit. Stuff that you can use. You go to summits and you get all this information. My challenge to those who come into the community and a part of the D2LD Ohana is you get this information. I challenge you. What are you going to do with it, right? The execution is in the success of it. You can hear it all day, but if you don't put any energy and effort behind making a change to that mindset or the habits that you're doing, then it's just a nice little conversation you hear between me and my little brother Chris, and that's
Hmm.
it. But
Yeah.
I expect and I encourage those who will get the opportunity to hear the value you've shared to execute what he shared, space, healing, and tell us now. how do we get some of this information to get to you? How do we get to you? What's going on? What's happening?
Oh, awesome. You can always reach me on the Champ I Am community. I have my own app. It's a free app. So if you do champiamcommunity.com, you can log in to the community where we have multiple communities in one location. We have a motivational community. We have the entrepreneur community. We have the ministry and marketplace community called Faith Alive. So it's multiple communities in one spot. So when you go to champiamcommunity.com, you can log in there and just say hi and get a chance to see all the content that we have, and all sorts of positive communities of speakers and people that are thought leaders that are coming into the app to share what they're about as well. I will not only be speaking at your conference, we also will be
Yeah.
having the Champ I Am Summit 4.0, which you were one of our keynote speakers, July the 16th, 17th, 18th. And that is champiamsummit.com, and that's free to attend. So I would love for you to come and see these leaders from all across the globe come together. And our theme this year is the art of showing up. Where you need to be able to show up as a leader, as a husband, as a wife, as a family, as an entrepreneur, just a healthy living. You need to show up in every area of your life, and there'll be somebody in there that's going to challenge you to see your life differently. So don't forget to register. It's free to attend. You can go to champiamsummit.com.
Guys, didn't I tell you it was going to be a treat hearing from Chris? Champ I am, because I know I'm a champion. I
Yes, you
am
are.
a champion. So, brother, thank you for dropping in with us today and sharing with us so transparently about things that can help us be better leaders. You know,
Well,
I,
thank you for
I,
having me,
I
man.
I think it's so important for leaders to be transparent because to get to wherever you are, there are some lessons you've learned along the way. But if you're not sharing that value and keeping it just close tied to yourself, then you're not growing and you're not helping others grow to be better leaders. So, Dare to Lead Differently family, I tell you, thank you so much for hanging with us and listening in to Christopher Hampton, Champ I Am. And we look forward to attending your summit. Make sure you sign up for a summit. Say it again. How do we connect
Champ
with
I
you?
am, Champ I am, CHAMPIAM
And it's
summit.com.
and it's happening on what day?
July the 16th, 17th, and 18th.
All right, I'm there. Come and hear me. I
Oh,
mean, come hear what I got to say.
please.
What
It's
I
not going
got
to
to
be the
say
same
is
message
going to
you
be
talked to you about
important.
in June, so it's going to be good. It's going to be new stuff.
It's gonna be new stuff, new stuff. All right, thank you guys. We will see you at the next